Morning, 6:40, 41 degrees out there. Moms and pregnant women, and sometimes just all women, put a lot of stress on their backs. A lot of us are hauling around the kids on the hips, the groceries, the strollers, you name it. But there are exercises you can do to strengthen your back and avoid long-term problems and just be strong. Joining us this morning is trainer Dustin Maher from Madison Fitness and boot camps, etc. Thanks again for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So the first thing you wanted to talk about is what happens to women who've had kids is the posture is a huge part of this too.
Exactly. A lot of lordosis happens, which is an arching of the lower back because you're holding that big baby. So what you need to do first is tilt that pelvis inwards so that you're not sticking that butt out so far, just pulling it in and being actively conscious of keeping it tight.
And I'm a great example of that. I know that I used to be a dancer and I stand the worst way.
Dancers and gymnasts also have a lordosis in the lower back, so you got to really pull it in and be conscious of it constantly.
And a way to tell too, because a lot of women who've had children have actually a split in those abdominal muscles. There's a way to test for that.
Yeah, it's called rectus diastasis, and there's a splitting there. So what you can do is you can lay on the ground and do a crunch and stick your fingers right in between there in that space.
Let's get it. Yeah, let's get a wide shot of him.
So right here, right in the space, when you're doing a crunch, if you can get more than 2 fingers in, 1.5 to 2 fingers is too big. You should not do crunches if you're doing that. You're going to make it worse.
Okay.
So you got to practice those vacuums that I showed a couple months ago, sucking in and really pulling. And some of these exercises will also be pretty good for it.
So these are alternatives to just plain old crunches, which don't always do the trick for strengthening your abs, which is good for your lower back. And we have a lower back exercise to do.
Exactly.
All right, first one, I don't even know what you call it, but I'll do a demonstration. You could probably use any ball, like a basketball, a soccer ball, something like that.
And starting out, you don't need a ball. You can just be in a push-up position, make it easier.
So really suck in is the first thing.
Big thing is to keep that back flat. So many people are going to stick that butt out and have a really big arch in the back.
And you want to
and then we're doing a little more advanced movement where you're pulling it in, kicking out, get some glute activation as well.
But don't give up on doing this.
Exactly. If that happens, it's too difficult for you.
Okay. So stop moving the legs or do it on the ground.
Perfect.
Okay.
Here's a crunch variation I've never seen anybody show before, but is one of the best for teaching this. So you're
I've never seen it before either. So pay attention if you're looking for.
So you're rolling more forward than you normally would, dropping the hips way down, and then crunching up, but you're curling and tilting the pelvis. Okay. Come back down.
So I'm really letting it all hang out down there first, and then coming all the
tilting.
way up.
And when you're tilting like that, you're going to really hit below. Everyone complains about the lower abs. Yes. This is a great one for pulling it in and doing that.
All right, hopefully I'm not going to cut everything off there. All right, nice shot. Okay, the third one is just for the lower back. So those two are both good for both parts of the core.
Exactly.
But this is a simple one, and I'm going to get on the ground. It'll be the last thing I do. All right, here we go.
So this is called a swimmer, pretty traditional, but it's really working the lower back, called the erector spinae muscles. And all you're doing is just lifting the arms up and lifting the legs up. If that's too difficult, don't kick the legs or don't move the arms. Make sure you're still breathing, pulling that belly in. All
right, we are running out of time, so hopefully I can get off the ground here without everybody can still hear me. Dustin, from Madison Fitness, and also boot camps are still going on. They're not outside, but you can
We're going indoors now.
All right, there are links to Dustin's websites on ours, NBC15.com. And you also have an interesting cruise coming up.
I'm hosting a fitness cruise in the Caribbean, so if anybody is interested in coming to the Caribbean with me in late February,